Well,
Yeah.
hey, see who all we've got on here with us because I see iPhone. Who's iPhone? There's Rebecca. Rebecca, welcome. Glad
Good
to have
morning.
you.
Good morning.
Rebecca's with us in the Rochester office. Leon is with us in the Rochester office. Okay, that was Kenyana. Thank you. I thought I saw a quick photo there. So Kenyana, I know you're probably double tasking. D, who is D? And Alpha too. I don't know that I've met the two of you previously.
I think Alpha,
Yes,
or is that
yes,
Althea?
it's Althea, yeah. It's
Althea,
Althea.
okay.
Hi.
Good
Yeah.
morning to
Good
you.
morning. Good morning, Darwin. Good morning.
Yes, so we'll see how
I was yesterday at the class.
were you? Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
it was a great class.
Was that was your first session with us too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was my no. I was there 5 weeks, but so I took it first time. Yeah,
Okay, good. All right.
Darwin. See.
And
Okay.
okay, Dakota's D, so that is you can see in the chat. So good deal. We know what we've got there. Well, a number of new ones and others that either have forgotten. Oh, there's Althea. I just forgot, sorry. So others that, well, you know, if you guys were part of Hard Knocks like Althea or Leon, what we know is we start out and then it slowly drops off. Because I think people realize they don't like the accountability and then it takes them a little bit longer to fall back out of the business because well, here we know I'm fairly frank on these calls because it's what I owe to you guys. But either we're talking to people as we know or we're not. And that's what we use this forum for, is to go, what are we doing within our business? Where are we at? A little bit of that coaching that costs you absolutely nothing, but be prepared for the direct thoughts as to where we're at. So it's an open forum. It works best when we all share. So with that, let's go with starting out on our positives. What's the good news for the week? Actually, 2 weeks for this group. Jerome can't play. Okay, so let me qualify then good news. Any advancement with what you've done in the last 2 weeks? What have you done that's a positive? By the way, for some of you, that could be, I actually talked to somebody about real estate.
Yes, I talk about real estate and I was doing callings and possibly I got 2 leads, but I have to contact them back in 2 months.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
really then you've established a few leads.
Yeah, but they're not ready. It was expired. So I was calling them and I'm still, I came to the office to call again. So I still keep calling, you know. So
Excellent.
just 2
And
weeks for now and hopefully they will be ready, but I have to follow up with them.
so that's good news. So what really, if you shared, because that's one of the things that we talked about in class, if
Yeah.
you shared, Althea, what would you say is the takeaway that you got from class with what you just talked about?
You know, what I got the most important things that I have to talk, and I talked with my students because I also teach piano. You know, some evenings. So just to talk with people, talk, not to be afraid talking with people. So it's what the most important things what I got from the class, even like, and of course, another thing that it's about me, I have to learn scripts better, so especially I have accent, I understand it. And also I'm calling some of my Russian community. Most of them are very nice to me, but they not ready to sell or buy, but I keep calling them, so.
Yeah, so let me throw out additional to what Alfia is actually doing here. So in talking to people, what are we hoping to find? Someone who says, how great it is you called me today. I need you to come over and list my house. Right? That would be the
Yeah, it
ideal
would
that
be
we
great.
run
It
into.
would be great. Yeah, it would be great if they would, like yesterday, Jane, I think her name is Jane, she said, just come and list my home. Yeah, it's was really
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep. And so here's the other part to it then. If we're going to rarely run into that as we talk to people, then what we'll need is to make sure we have a follow-up system in place that will prompt us to call and talk to the people that we identified that are going to be moving in the next month, in 3 months, in 6 months. Someone who said, well, yeah, we've thought about it, but, and then I could put them on a drip campaign where they get reminded. And that was the big thing that came out yesterday, is those that have been in our classes, getting coaching, even Jerome, it's the follow-up.
Yeah,
We talk to a
follow-up
whole
is
lot of
most important.
people to find leads, and then we need to follow up on those leads as they come through. So that's probably next to talk to people. When you establish a lead, we need to follow up on that. And those follow-ups become part of our talking to people. And then how much time should we give ourselves if we're a full-time agent? Easily, how much time should we give ourselves to talk to people every day?
When you have an opportunity to talk, like today I'm going to teach and I'm going to bring this topic again, and when we have opportunity, I
Mhm.
come to the office like almost every day to call expires, to call downsizers, to call absentee owners.
Good for you. Good for you. So let me bring Leon into the game here.
Okay. Thank you.
Leon's a full-timer. So Leon, how many hours should I give myself minimum as a full-time agent to actually prospect and talk to people?
About 2 hours a day.
Yep. So as a full-timer, that's probably a minimum. Because if I haven't talked to people, I don't have appointments. If I don't have appointments, really, what else is left to do? So that's a key. And here's what we know. That should be in my calendar. Time block it. If it's not in your calendar, your prospecting time is going to be missed. And all of you have been with me before. And gosh, Rebecca, when we first talked, we said, guess what? That's the one thing that we have to do every day. And Rebecca is still working full-time yet, right?
Yes, I am. So I'm starting to ramp up doing kind of those, it was a speed board to-do list. So I'm
Yeah.
checking off boxes there. So I'm a little
Good.
delayed. I just wanted to be a fly in the wall and get
You're
started.
still fine. I won't
Listening to
pick on you
everyone.
yet.
You can pick on me.
I'm just pleased to see you and that we're getting you up and running as we've talked about. We knew it was gonna be a slow one to get you rolling, so.
Oh, I
You're good,
appreciate your
but
patience.
It's great for you to be here because you can hear that key part and yeah, it's just, oop, there's a human being.
Yeah.
How can I bring up the subject of real estate? And I
Yeah,
think
and
that's a great one.
can I just ask something? Like, when you
Yeah.
say that, okay, say I run into someone at the grocery store, you know, my situation's a little different because I'm dipping my toe for a second. I'm not fully like, I need to get to the office. I need to like kind of get some more things down, like LinkedIn linked up. Like, I got all those type of things where I have to still do. But what is the best way to make it casual? Like, it feels, I don't want to be aggressive enough where I'm scaring them off, right? But you want to be assertive enough where they remember you. Can you give us, I love when you give examples, like just a scenario. Hey, I'm walking in, I see Joe, you know. I always love those type of examples. If you have time.
Absolutely. So if, give me a scenario, Rebecca, where you would run into someone.
Just say I'm at the grocery store. You kind of run
Okay.
into someone you haven't seen for a while. You know them from the past, but you haven't really talked with them in quite a while,
Okay.
right?
Good, good. So here's a simple one that I would give you, and it's an acronym. FORE, like golf, FORE, FORE.
Okay.
Short for family, occupation, and I abbreviate it because it works better, real estate. And typically by the time you get done talking with occupation, they convert it automatically. So all it is when you run into somebody, obviously we go, oh gosh, it's been a while. How are you? How's such and such? The kids, what are they doing with? And you, by the way, are you still over at? But when you ask them, are they still over at for employment? What do they turn and they ask you? What's up with you? Well, gosh, I'm glad that you asked because I've recently got myself into the real estate business and I need your help. Who do you know? So it's really just have a conversation, but it was interesting that I spent those 3 days down in Florida at the Century 21 convention, 121, and one of the speakers dropped this acronym out, and I'm going, it's nothing big, especially for our people. They've been with me, they know that one. But one went, oh, I love that acronym. That makes it so easy for me now to talk to people. And I'm going, you should have already heard that before. But again, you know, there's so much that we get to us. But for her, when she was ready, the teacher appeared and they threw that one thing out. And it was like, because now it was going to make it simple to hold a conversation.
And what about E? Was that part of the real estate?
Real estate, yeah. Now, another one that if we carried it out the other way, it would be family, occupation, recreation, then expectation. The expectation for what will they be doing with real estate. So if nothing else, even if we simplified it to our typical FOR, F-O-R, family, occupation, recreation. But I'll tell you what, you've only got so much time, like in a grocery line, to get to the point what you really like.
Right.
And the other, career apparel. Career apparel is everywhere. It's available. Go look online. If you're in 21 online, we have approved vendors. You know, all of it's there. It's preset, but at the same point, you can go buy some nice shirts and then go to what do they call it when it gets sewn in on? Anyway, yeah, embroidery. Thank you. I'm going to be 63 on March 19th. I might start blaming it on that. But anyway, you might find that to be cheaper. And of course, you got a few extra steps to save a few dollars. So just know that, yeah, career apparel in the Century 21 name, it's the most common name known and associated directly to real estate. Okay, so that's a big one. Let people talk to you. And I'll share one other story with you. And this was our owner's mother, who was actually a part owner in this, but Darlene Hendricks. I had her in a panel one time, and we said, what's the one thing that you would share with everybody? She says, well, I just think that it doesn't matter where you're at, if it's in the grocery line, you strike up a conversation and you ask, who do you know that needs to buy or sell real estate? And she said, all I do is to make sure I get an opportunity to ask at least 5 people every day that question. Who do you know? And by the way, not do you know? Who do you know? You'll have a total different impact on what's going on in their brain. Because if I just said, do you know if anybody wants to buy or sell real estate? Reflexive response? Nope, they don't even think. It's just a quick, easy answer that they can give. When we say, who do you know? We're causing their mind to go into that mode and begin thinking about who they actually know. Okay, so great question with that one. Great question.
This is Jerome. Here's
Yeah,
an
go for it.
ad. Here's an ad. I believe in this philosophy. You're not fully dressed until you have your realtor pen, and if you have a brand designation on you. And if you're wearing a top coat, when you go somewhere, put it on the outside of your top coat. And I promise you that'll get conversation started, because everybody that I've run into knows what that blue R means. How's the market is the question I always get. How's the market? And that's my opening for a conversation. And I didn't start the conversation. They did, because they saw the R on my lapel. And one of the biggest mistakes that us agents make is that we act as if we're secret agents, as Floyd Wickman used to say. We don't have anything on us that identifies us as a real estate agent.
I love it, Jerome. And for those who don't know, Jerome is a 20+ year veteran and one of our great mentors in the Troy office. So he's speaking with some wisdom on that. So without doubt, yes, career apparel, wear it. Don't be the secret agent. That will quite often bring up the subject by itself. And the realtor R pen or pin can be that simple, but more recognizable than even the realtor R is the Century 21 logo. So if we haven't got you a name badge, make sure that we do that and get the magnetic clip for exactly the reason that Jerome was talking about. That will pretty much hold on anything. All right, so good stuff there. Yeah, and Kenyana, by the way, shared the good news. If you didn't see in the chat, she's actually got a new listing and the buyer closing on Monday. So good for you. I love it. And
Yeah.
So
and
great
I,
job.
I have a new listing. It's being entered this morning, and I have a second appointment. And the reason I haven't had it is because the sellers had COVID, both of them, husband and wife. So I had to reschedule the appointment. So I'm looking to get back to them beginning of April or middle of April.
Great. All right, so let's see. Probably the next thing is then, what's the area you need help with? I need help with, and Rebecca, you already threw out one, So we will give you, you can still play a fly on the wall here, but how about everybody else? What is it that's holding you back? Because you know what you know, and you know that you need to talk to people. What's holding you back? What do you need help with? Bueller?
I have a
Bueller?
question again.
Hey,
This is Rebecca.
hey, Rebecca, you can dominate right now.
Well, you know, the whole 2 hours of making contact, how much of that can be spent, do you recommend, like online? I mean, it's kind of online, I feel, is that tricky thing where it's a little impersonal, right? I would think that the in-person meeting new people might have, I don't know, it's just, again, just more personal, where when you reach out to someone, say on LinkedIn, or I guess I would just love your insights on those two ways to communicate with people. Is there a difference?
Absolutely.
Is there more, more times you have to do it, et cetera?
Well, the best way to talk to people, are you ready? The way that you'll do it. That's the best way, is to do it the way that you'll do it. Now, if that means that you picked up the telephone and you want to do this, or if it's knock on doors, if it is meeting people at clubs, organizations, church, wherever I can talk to the number of people I need to talk to every day, that's the best way, is the way that you'll do it. Now, we can go that, why would this be the best way? You'll talk to more people in less time. However, when it comes to the aspect of communication, and we've talked about 7% being the words that we use, 38% being our tonality, how we sound when we say the words, to me going, cut those puppies out of there, to 55% being what they can see, the physiology, the body language. Well, if we're using the phone, we've only got the 45% of communication. We're missing half of it. But you'll talk to more people in less time. If we go see people, then we've got 100% of communication, because we've got the 7, we got the 38, and we've got all the 55. And a lot of people simply feel more comfortable. The only problem is if we're going, say, door to door, which is a great thing to do, and I recommend that we do it, you won't see as many people. However, you'll have a higher conversion rate. The number of people that you talk to, you'll convert more that way than you would if you were doing it by phone. And of course, look, I can go stand out in Kroger as long as they'll let me, and just go, hi, I'm a realtor. You need to buy or sell? Hi, I'm a realtor. You need to buy or sell? Where can I go and talk to a whole lot of people? And if it's just, I got to get 10, where can you go and talk to 10 people very, very quickly? Okay. The other to remember is text messaging. So, Rebecca, the one thing that we talk about is, as long as we're engaging in conversation, do we really care what mode we're in? And the answer is no. There's a lot of people, this is how they like to carry on a conversation, because they can talk with 2, 3 people at once with different, what's subject matter? So that would be the 3 modes. And of course, here I think we've got to have probably 4, 5, 6 at the most sources that we would do our active prospecting in. So here's the obvious. What is the rock upon which you build your business? That's a quiz. You've been with me enough, Leon. You should know this one. The rock upon which you build your business is, Jerome's holding back because he knows he can't play that much because he knows all the answers. He's waiting for you guys. Guys, who knows you?
The people that know you, your
The
friends.
people that
maybe.
know you, your sphere of influence, your friends. And again, if we haven't got that going, and by the way, Rebecca probably remembers that back from when we interviewed. That is the place. Start there. Don't be afraid to talk to the people that you know. We need to depend upon them because they are the rock on which you build your business. It's the most likely place that you will have your first signed contract from are the people that you know. So if we talk to enough, and Leon's been real good with all of this. Right now, Leon's gone from 60 people in his sphere of influence to 80, and yet he's only got 80 on his list. Now, Leon just graduated from school a couple years back and graduated with 600 plus people. How big should his sphere of influence list be? Right?
600.
600 plus, but as a minimum 600, because all of his friends have parents. And let's say Leon pissed off half the school. He was one of those guys, he was a bully, he's not. But let's say he pissed off half the kids in his class. Well, it's still 300 plus their parents, plus the friends that his friends know. It's the aspect of, don't forget, we've got relationships with a boatload of people, and we just got to pick up the phone and talk. And you know, again, you know, with what Rebecca was talking about, 4, and then start this way. I know it's been a few years, but I just wanted to call for a couple of reasons, and number one is to catch up. How are you? What are you doing these days? And somewhere they're going to start asking questions, guys. It's called a conversation, but somebody's got to start it. When you get lost, you've got family, occupation, and specifically now you're going to end up talking real estate. But we also know R is recreation. Everybody does something. So what are you doing to stay busy? Now, you know these people. You still riding bike? You guys doing the travel trailer? Where have you gone this year? There's just who's the person, and have a conversation and have a sincere interest. Now, if real estate doesn't come up, you started out by saying, listen, I'm calling for a couple of reasons. One is I want to catch up. Well, I mentioned, now here's the transition. I mentioned I was calling for a couple of reasons. So I wanted to talk real estate for a second. And then you go into it. Now, here's the other thing we know about talking to our sphere. We're supposed to talk to them 4 times per year. 4. So I just say, hey, Kenyatta, it's Darwin. Listen, just calling a couple of reasons, wanted to catch up. You know, last time I talked to you, you were going to go to this concert over at. How was that? Now, how do I remember that I had that? Because I had it in my CRM. What CRM are we using?
Moxie.
What? Okay, so I've got one Moxie. What's everybody else using? Althea,
I'm using Zap.
okay.
Well,
So-
Zap is now Moxie.
It's a Maxi now. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so if
I
you
was
were actually
putting there
using-
anyway.
If you were actually using Zap, that's dead or dying.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you still have access to that, you want to export all of those contacts out as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you, Darwin.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that you brought that up. So if anybody else is still using Zap directly, that's dying. I'd be surprised if it would even allow you to put anybody in. So you do want to convert that over to Moxie. And so everybody, that was what I was really looking for, is Moxie.
Engage, by the way, I should have added that. Moxie Engage.
Now,
ENGAGE.
here's what I want you to look for. And everybody on here is gold. I'm going to be scolding those blue people. Bob does classes. And when he sends out those emails, those classes are different. So don't think just because it's in the same format, those are the same classes. Sign up for those, listen in, and then sign up for a time block where he'll do a one-on-one Zoom session with you to get that up and running, because you've got your website that you need to get set up. You need to get Engaged set up. And of course, those two things can lead to listing appointments. So you need to understand how to use Moxie Present. And all of those are tied together. And, you know, if we think of what Althea started out with, I've got these, but they're not ready now. Well, that's real estate life. I need to follow up and put them on drip campaigns. And that's what Moxie Engage will do. It will, you could walk in tomorrow and it'll say, okay, Althea, here's who you need to talk to. And then it sent out a whole bunch of other emails because you put them on a drip campaign. So everybody that you have in there, you could put them on a holiday drip campaign. And it already exists. And it's like, back in the day, I like to have fun with St. Patrick's Day because of my Irish roots, but they didn't have St. Patrick's Day in there. So I created one, which you can do, and just add it into your calendar list. Okay, so that way it is in there. Yep, Jerome had to leave us. He had to go get an offer signed, so I'm good with that. So that's a good one, but get that going, because again, how do you know the last time that you talked to somebody, when you need to talk to them again, and can you remember what you talked about? And especially when I get my sphere of influence at 300 plus. And by the way, one of the neat things is that you get your sphere of influence to that level, you don't have to worry about for sale by owners or expireds anymore. And Rebecca, when you get ready for those, that's when we probably will want to make sure that we get together. Matter of fact, we should schedule something before we sign off today, just for when we could do that 30-minute session to get you rolling.
Yeah, I know I'm coming in on the 17th.
Okay.
Friday. I made with Brenda, and hopefully I was hoping you'd be there too.
Okay.
So.
All right.
On
So
Friday,
just send me the 17th and the time.
Okay, I'll send you a note.
The next day I'm heading off to Cabo San Lucas.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get you before you go there.
I'm ready for that one. Good stuff.
Is that
there.
somewhere? Would we be able to discuss the Bob's classes? Is he the tech guy?
He's Bob
Okay.
is the tech ambassador. So
mm,
and I would say don't wait. You know,
Okay.
have you met Bob or seen Bob yet?
I don't know if I have or not. So
Okay. Well, just know Bob can get a little wired, right, guys?
okay.
Bob's my age, and but he can get like hyper and then a little crazy, but he's awesome at what we've got him doing. So don't wait. I would look. If you've got time, go check your emails, find out what classes there are, sign up for the ones that you can, and look for his available time slots where you could work with him one-on-one. Believe me,
Great.
he'll love it.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
you betcha. Good deal. Well, what else do you guys have that we need help with? Otherwise, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And I know some of you might be a little tied up, but this has been a curiosity. and yet it's also for your coaching. And Rebecca, again, we know what you and I are doing. Has everyone done Accelerate? That would be the online course from or with Century 21. Nope, not yet, Rebecca. Althea, do you know? We talked about it yesterday.
I think I did it 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
But I probably need to do it again. Yeah.
All right.
I did something with Century 21 1.5 years ago.
Probably that was it then.
Yeah, to
But I would say, we might be kind of restarting. That might be a good thing to do, or see if there's an advanced class beyond that might be even better for you. Leon, how about you? Have you done that one? Accelerate?
I don't think I did.
Okay, let's go on to 21 Online and go to the Learning Library. Learning Library, and do a search for X, and it is the letter X, Accelerate. X-C-E-L-L-A-R-A-T-E. I'm pretty sure that's the way they spell it. But you'll see it. Do that search and then sign in for the upcoming class. Kenyatta, I'd be pretty sure that you've done that. Dakota?
I've done it. It's excellent. I really enjoyed the class.
There you go.
It was great.
It's the education that we need. And again, just like what I was sharing about earlier, I had the acronym that I shared, and somebody been with me before, like they'd never heard it. So, sometimes we can catch something from a different instructor because it's said a different way. Dakota, how about you? We may have lost Dakota. Oh, that's okay. Dakota's microphone not working, or I understand. So not done it yet. I just joined a few days ago. Great. So good. I appreciate that, Dakota. Thank you. So that's part of Speedboard. So as Rebecca had mentioned, just start going through that. If you're full-time, go through that as it says. Okay. And obviously it depends upon, your degree of commitment, where you're at, timing. And that's, Rebecca and I have talked, you can kind of hear that we've got something a little bit different from most. But if you're planning to make, let's say, I don't know, we'll go right in the middle, $50,000 in the next 12 months. Then what do you need to do to be able to make that happen? So here would be the next question. And if you want to put it in the chat session like Dakota has, that's good too. How many of you have done the gold projector? I know Leon has, because he and I just did it yesterday, but he's going to refine and personalize. So just a yes, I have, or a no, I haven't. Kenyatta, great. Does everybody know what I'm referring to with the gold projector? Okay. Gosh, wow. Okay, now Althea, it's probably new, knowing the time period that you've already been at this. And by the way, Bob Madgett's a fly on the wall too, but Bob's been around for a long time. Bob's been
I
around.
have, sorry, if you mean a vision board, I have a vision board.
Okay, yeah, this would be different. So a couple of things. So Rebecca, it is in Dakota, same thing. It is in Speedboard. So, and it comes up quickly. So the first thing, Althea brought up Dream Board. Dream Board is attached with the Dream Sheet. The Dream Sheet is simply that. Start dreaming. And it's easy to come up with 50. Leon, again, in the past week, just another one of the coaching things. Leon got his done and he got to 50. which I'm gonna tell you, for Leon, that was a struggle, was it not, my friend? To get to 50, yeah, but because we haven't had the opportunity or the thought to where we would begin thinking from that perspective with no cap, no limitations. I can have or do whatever I want. So we start with the dream sheets and nothing's out of the ordinary. There's no limits to what you could have. And then we move to the vision board. So we're going to take the key things that we want, print out pictures, and put them onto poster board. The offices typically have those materials in place. So just come into the office. There should be the poster board, glue sticks, and then you just go on your computer and you find pictures of what it is that you've dreamed of, and we put them onto the board. So that then helps us determine, well, if I want this, how much money do I need to make that happen? So if we said that's 50 grand, I can do this. I want to make 50 grand in the first year. I want to make 50 grand. 50 grand will allow me to leave my current employment. Okay. Then what will it take to make that happen? How many calls, how many conversations or contacts? We've been referring to those as conversations because it's kind of hard to misinterpret that. A conversation, simply defined, I talk to someone about real estate. How many conversations do I have to hold to make that happen? That's what the goal projector does. And it's a little difficult to find. But again, if you go into the learning library and search goal projector, it'll pop right up. And then the thing to do is to click on learn more. And then if you have any trouble, make sure that you talk with your manager. And if they have trouble, that's when you give the two of you, give me a call and I'll help you get to that one. But I couldn't get a direct link in Speedboard that would take you directly to the goal projector. But what that will do is I'm going X amount of money, how many days you're going to work, or excuse me, how many weeks you're going to work during the year, how many days will I spend prospecting. It'll then tell you, and this is what Leon and I worked out yesterday. He has to, taking 4 weeks off, prospecting 4 days a week. He has to talk to 10 people 4 days a week. 10 people, 4 days. Otherwise, every week he's got to talk to 40 people. That is Leon's simple job description that his boss is going to hold him accountable to. And of course, who's our boss? Look in the mirror, because it's you. But here's what he knows. When he and I get together every week, he's going to turn now the 1 week business plan. And the simple part is, here's what he knows. He's going to spend 4 days a week prospecting. He's going to make 10 contacts. Those 40 essentially should convert to 1 appointment. The goal projector does everything in regards to the 1 week business plan. So this is important if you're getting, like Althea, you're graduated, you're off the program, but like Kenyana, what Brenda is still doing with you, Dakota, what you should be receiving from Luigi, you turn in these 1 week business plans, which lays out, here's what I'm going to do this week. And then when you get together next week, you bring in that one with your actual numbers. with what your plan is for the next week. And you give that to your manager. So as an example, that's what next week, now that Leon and I have this in place, Leon's got to bring me those 2 sheets. And I get to look at it and go, okay, how did you do? Did you get your 10 in? 40 for the week. Well, no, I only got 3 days in. Then I take and I push him up against the wall and I treat him like I'm a gangster named Guido and beat him up so that the next week he does it properly. Right, Leon? It's something like that anyway. But the key is that your manager is going to hold you accountable to your job description that you've written for yourself. Okay, so really all 3 of those. So here's what you're looking for. 1, start with a dream sheet. 2, create your vision board. 3, do the goal projector. 4, that works to the 1-week business plan. All of those, if you're still in Speedboard, all of those are online in that, I believe it's day 1. The link is there to the resource. And everything that you need will be there. Okay? If you don't, you want to have those things, go talk to, yeah, we can keep it simple. Go talk to Luigi or me, you guys. We'll get you there. All right, good stuff right there. Good stuff with that one. So those are key things. As a matter of fact, when I get anybody in coaching within the office, those you just hit are the key elements that you want to be able to step into. Because up until then, I don't even know what I'm coaching you toward, because I don't know your motivation. And if we don't have the motivation to do this stuff, I mean, here, how many of us are looking forward or look forward every day to spending 2 hours on this? We're human. But if we have a reward that we're going to get from picking that up, that's when we'll do it. And if we want to make 100,000 or 500,000, all we've got to do is pick that puppy up, make those calls. All right, so let's see, 10:50. What else do you have, guys? Anything? We don't need to use the whole hour, and I've covered up the primary parts. All right, well, if you guys have got nothing else, then we'll run it from there. Everybody, you know what you need to do. Talk to people, but get those key parts, which are the elements that are going to tell you how many that you actually need to talk to every day, because it'll tell you how many appointments you got to go on, how many contracts you got to get signed, and how many closings you need to make what it is that you want to make. It's your job description that you're figuring out. So the goal projector will be great for that. And then we'll run it from there. So everybody have a great week. Make sure you put in your calendar 2 weeks from today, 10 a.m.